This is Alex Benitez, author of Rose Star Runners and a big Naruto fan, and I am here to discuss who Tobi may very well be. There's been a lot of theories running around YouTube about who he could be and why and stuff like that, and so I'm going to run through what I've seen as all the popular theories and try to tell you the pros and cons of why that theory could work or why it couldn't work, and I'm going to lead it up to what I think is true, which I haven't seen too much on YouTube, so I'd like to put it out there. And yeah, I'll try to be as unbiased as possible. I'll try to give you both sides. But Masashi Kishimoto definitely sent us for a whirl when a resurrected Masaru Uchiha suddenly stepped onto the battlefield. After the excitement of a full-blown out fight between him at his prime versus all the Kage died down, the inevitable question arose: who is really Tobi? Who is he? And so we're here to discuss that. One thing I hear that I don't think's that bad of a theory, but I'm gonna couple it with this other theory because they both kind of, the evidence kind of both works the same way. One side I think is kind of good, one side I think is just completely dumb. Is a clone, like a Zetsu clone, or a third-person ninja that hasn't been introduced yet. There's not too much evidence going either way, because if it was a third-person clone, or if it was a third-person or a Zetsu clone, kind of everything he's done so far, he kind of still would have done the same. So there's not too much evidence going either way on that. But a good thing for a Zetsu clone is that in the fight with Danzo, Tobi faces some of his subordinates and rips off his arm after getting touched by an Aburame person. Inside his arm isn't flesh and blood, it's some type of doughy, thick substance. And as everybody knows, that Zetsu is made up of that stuff and can kind of make clones and stuff out of that. So that is a big piece of key evidence for the clones, and that can't be disproven. That's exactly what it looks like. But as for a third-person ninja that we haven't seen yet, I just really don't think it is, because Kishimoto isn't an amateur. I don't think he's going to just start introducing characters that haven't even been discussed yet just to explain it right off the bat. I don't think he's that much of a storytell amateur, so yeah, I don't really think it's that. Next, one really big voice in YouTube says that he has a theory that it's an old evil Sasuke from the past. And that just sounds really stretching, because there's no real evidence. It's just all kind of stuff that hasn't happened yet. Only that what could happen. So it really sounds very, very thin to me, because now we got to start dealing with time travel, and I really hope this isn't getting all 12 monkey-ish. So and a big key that I think kind of disproves it is because it involves Naruto using a seal jutsu, which I know Uzumakis are supposed to be the word amongst words in sealing jutsus, and Naruto is an Uzumaki, but he's never himself ever been taught any type of sealing jutsu. So I can't really imagine Naruto suddenly at the last minute having the most powerful jutsu that not only seals you but seals you in the past. So I just don't see that happening. It just seems too much of a stretch to me. So I don't even think that's plausible. Next, a pretty good theory, but it's still kind of stretching to me. I would still have some issues with it if it is the truth. Is Obito, and that's a pretty big popular theory, and there's a lot of little reasons why people think Tobi is Obito, and it's kind of just sounds like hearsay to me. I mean, it might be a fact in the Naruto world, but it just kind of seems like hearsay. A lot of it does. Some of it's good, but a lot of it seems like hearsay. Like, he wears orange. Obito used to wear a jumpsuit that was blue with orange trim, and Tobi wears an orange mask. This just kind of seems like, I mean, it's a color, you know, it's coincidence. How many people in there wear black or that Jonin suit, and we can't just start linking people together and saying this guy's this guy and that guy's that guy. It's just a color. Same thing with the hair. They have the same haircut. I mean, that still kind of seems like out of the box to me. You know, just sounds like stretching it. You know what I mean? Also, they have the same letters in their name. I mean, you drop an O in Obito and switch the letters around, and you could spell out Tobi. I mean, that's what they got going for them. Seems kind of you know, but this is the biggest piece of evidence I think people who believe it's Obito got going for them is Kakashi's Kamui. Kakashi has Obito's eye, and he's recently been able to perfect a jutsu called Kamui, where he can take things and throw it into like this different dimension. Tobi seems to be able to do that times 1,000,000 degrees. He can not only do that, but do it to parts of his bodies, and do it like instantaneously to parts of his bodies, and freaking just go all out crazy with that, and doesn't seem to really affect him as bad as it does Kakashi. So that, I believe, is unexplainable. That's a good piece of evidence for why it could be Obito. But there's a lot why I don't think it's Obito. For one, he doesn't really seem to have a motive. At least what they've shown so far, he doesn't really have any type of motive to be so pissed at the Hidden Leaf Village. He appears too old. I know there could be like some type of jutsu to make him look old, but I don't know. I don't know why he would be doing that. Why wouldn't he just seem young? He could have been somebody else. But he has an unexplainable knowledge of Madara and his doings, and I don't think anybody's really been addressing this, that he knows a lot of what Madara's past and what Madara's been doing, and I don't know how Obito could have gotten all this information. And I don't want anybody telling me it's Zetsu, because if you think Obito is Tobi, then Zetsu doesn't really have any ties with Madara himself, so it still kind of makes no sense to me. One thing is that people like to use as evidence, which I think immediately not only gets disproven but worked against them, is that Tobi only shows off one Sharingan, the one that Obito would have kept if he stayed alive, and after giving Kakashi the other one. This immediately gets disproven because he fights Konan and uses Izunagi, which kills off one of the Sharingan eyes, and it shows that he still has one left, so it proves that he had two Sharingans. So I don't, that kind of just works against you. The times don't fit. When Minato Namikaze fought Madara, it obviously wasn't Madara, it was Tobi, because they're talking about how he had to get around his time-space jutsu, and Madara doesn't use it. So it was obviously Tobi that he was fighting. Now that was at most 3 or 4 years after freaking Tobi was shown killed. So now you're going to try to tell me that, Obito was killed. Now you're going to try to tell me that Obito was found by Zetsu, healed to the point where he's good, have gotten so strong that he can use the Kyuubi, learns so much knowledge about Madara in that short amount of time, and becomes strong enough to face the 4th Hokage all in that short, limited amount of time. It just really sounds stretching. And Nagato's Rinnegan, he says that he gave Nagato the Rinnegan, and if it's Obito, when could that have happened? Because I'm thinking that Nagato and Obito were kind of around the same age. So he was a little kid when Nagato first activated it. Just doesn't make sense. So those are the reasons why I don't think it's Obito. Sorry. The one which I don't think has been said too much, which is my theory, is I think it is Izuna Uchiha. It's right there. His age fits. He knows a lot about Madara because he's his brother. I can imagine him being strong enough at that point to summon the Kyuubi to do his will, and they have similar drives. They want the same thing. They've been fighting by each other for so long. A lot of people might say that he doesn't have the Sharingan, and which is a valid point, but it's just been proven that Madara died. I believe that Izuna took his eyes back. One of the only things I can think of that works against this theory is that he doesn't use any of the big three. He doesn't use Amaterasu, Susanoo, or the Tsukiyomi. He doesn't really seem to use them too much. That's all that seems that to work against me, but I think that can somehow be disproven, especially since I'm kind of formulating the theory that Izuna took his eyes back after Madara died. I think he took his eyes back and then gave the Renegon portion, the Renegon life force, to Nagato, which I don't believe the whole, you have to be part Senju and part Uchiha to get the Renegon. I really don't believe that, because they were both in Danzo, and Danzo didn't get the Renegon. And then people might be like, yeah, but he didn't have Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Neither did Nagato. Nagato didn't have any Sharingan. He might have had some life force in him, but he definitely didn't have Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. So how could he have gotten it? So, I think I'm getting a little off track. Yeah, I believe it's Izuna. It just seems to fit to me a lot more than it being Obito. But again, I don't really know. Nobody does until Kishimoto lets it loose, which I think is going to be soon, because, you know, Naruto's facing Tobi right now, and I can't see Naruto getting out of this fight without winning. So I think it's Izuna. I think it's going to be revealed that it's Izuna. I'm about 80% sure that it's Izuna. About 10% sure that it's Obito. And about 10% sure that it is some type of clone. The rest, I think, is very far-fetched. So that's Alex Benitez's rundown of the Tobi situation and Naruto so far. I hope to get this out there. Check out my book, Rose Star Runners, on rosestarrunners.com. And